Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today as we launch the STRAT Women's Forum Fall Programs, and today's program, Curating a Personal Board of Directors. My name is Nancy Rizzuto. I'm one of the founding partners and a principal at STRAT, and I am a founder of the STRAT Women's Forum. I lead our business initiatives as well as the Women's Forum here in Florida. And where we're sensing a bit of fall, I guess as fall as Florida can get, perhaps. And I'm joined by some colleagues, my business partner and dear friend, Barbara Best, who is also a founding partner and a principal at STRAT, and also a founding partner of the STRAT Women's Forum. As I lead here in Florida, Barbara does an uber awesome job leading in Chicago. And yesterday, Barbara had a little bit of an accident and is at home recovering. She's fine, a bit banged up, but is taking a pass today on speaking while she sits around and enjoys her morning Percocet. So Barbara's sending positive vibes to you, and we are so very grateful that you are safe and sound at home. I'm also joined by two other colleagues, Nicole Myers, who supports business development and marketing, and our colleague Heather Rary. Heather actually leads the operations for our firm. So we are just real excited about today's program, but over the weekend, we lost an icon, a woman who was an ally to so many and a sponsor in the true sense of the word for all women, and who advocated tirelessly for equality and integrity. And while, this term may not show up in today's discussion about who you should have on your board of directors, let me offer that we all need a shero. And I think you would all agree that RBG was a shero. So the words tribe, village, squad have really all been trending over the last couple of years. But what we're here today to talk about is having a personal board of directors, a network of influential professionals willing to invest in helping you navigate the challenges of your career. Our speaker is going to talk us through the various roles that people play on your board, but one attribute that should be a non-negotiable when you are selecting your board of directors is that everyone on that board should be someone that you trust. Everything starts with trust. And trust is at the core, at the foundation of every client relationship at STRAT, whether it's with an individual or with an institution. Our firm is an independent fiduciary investment advisory firm offering comprehensive investment advisory and asset management services to individuals, families, and institutions. When we work with institutions, whether that's a public or private company, a partnership, a nonprofit organization, we help them manage various pools of assets and focus on just strong investment returns. We create trustworthy partnerships and help them manage these pools of assets and really ensure that our clients know that we have their backs as fiduciaries and financial stewards of those assets. And we help individuals in the same way. Managing someone's wealth requires a tremendous amount of trust, and that is something that we never take for granted. With trust and transparency, we lead clients in helping to create the most optimal path for them to achieve financial peace of mind and to achieve their life and legacy goals. If you don't have rock solid trust with the advisor or broker that you're working with today, please reach out to us. We are happy to invest in a conversation with any of you. So turning to today's program, I am delighted to introduce Carla Harris, CEO and Managing Director of the People Institute. With over 2 decades of executive and leadership coaching, Carla's sole mission is to help companies and organizations serve clients by better focusing on the dynamics of workplace culture and cultivating synergy across teams. She's passionate about helping individuals build greater bonds by opening up and seeing the perspective of others. She's the author of her first book, Faith Works, and she is one of 20 authors in the anthology of Women of Courage. She's also the mom to a rock star teenager, also navigating the whole e-learning home thing. So thanks so much for being with us today, Carla. We're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me here today. And thank you and good morning to all of you. So I want to make sure that everyone has the worksheet that you've been given. If you don't have it, if you could just send maybe a message to Nancy, because we will need it. And it looks like this. So this is the worksheet that you have, and it's 2 pages. And I'd like to first just let you know that I'm a very conversational person. So let's make this a conversation about building your board of directors. And I want to start by saying that you probably have a board. You just don't think of it that way. And that's what we're going to do today, is talk about how to develop it, what to look for, and identify those people for the certain seats that you need on your board. So you guys submitted some questions, so I really love this, and I'd like to start with 2. The first one is, does this really work? And the answer is, it's all about relationships. So are you investing in the relationships? That will tell you if it's really working. And number 2, how can a personal board of directors best serve me? And again, I will tell you, it's all about relationship. So my philosophy about leadership is based on a very simple formula: relationships plus influence to get to the common goal. That's it. And when we create a personal board of directors, that's what we're looking at. We're developing relationships, a group of people to help you get to whatever goal it is that you want to achieve. So let's get right into it. If you have your form, I would love for you to open. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to play a little arts and crafts on the whiteboard. So can everyone see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. Let me just move it over here a little bit. I love these features from Zoom. Okay. So what is a board? We all know that it's your board of advisors. There are people, there are influencers, there are mentors and sponsors. And just like with any organization that has a board, there are a group of people that you vet that will bring value to your career goals, your leadership goals. And that's what we're going to do, is talk about those areas. So first of all, there are 6 seats on your board. So if you look at the form that you've been sent, you have you in the middle. Now, by show of hands or in the chat, how many of you currently sit on a board of directors? If you're in the chat, if you could just let me know that. Let's see, how do I see my chat here? Okay, good. So we do have some folks sitting on boards. Excellent, excellent. Quite a few of you. So then, of course, you understand the concept of, what it means to have people in your corner. And when we think about developing a personal group of people who advise us, it's much like putting out a call for nominations on a board, right? And I'd like to walk you through those steps. So first of all, all right. So here we are putting you in the middle. So this is you. And then what we're going to do is create the seats that we're going to put on the board. And each of those seats come with a title, right? So there's 6 seats on the board, and you have a couple options. So your first person that you think about is your connector. Who is the connector? Who is the person that you pick up the phone and call for anything? This is the person who knows everyone, who is well respected in the community. They're well respected in your organization. And that's the person that when you need something, or need to meet someone, or need advice on something, this is the first person that you're going to call. That is your connector. So I know we all have them. We just don't think about them, perhaps in entitling a person such as, okay, let me pick up the phone and call Mary. That's my connector. We just call because that's the relationship that we have. So I want you to think about for yourself who that person is, and I want you to jot their name in that box that says connector. The next seat on the board is your dreamer. Your dreamer is the person who believes in you no matter what. This is the person who says, who says, I got your back. If you say, I'm going to the moon, I'm building the next, unattainable dream, this is the person that says, I know you can do it. They support you in whatever your endeavor. So when we talk about dreamers, this is the person that supports you to the nth degree. And I want you to think about that person who has had that role in your life. Who is your dreamer and why? What is it that you've thought about, that you've wanted to do, that perhaps you've doubted yourself a little bit, and that person has always said, I know you got this. That's your dreamer. The next seat on your board is your accountability partner. This is the person who says, okay, you said you wanted to go back to school. You said you wanted to get your PhD. You said you wanted to get your master's. You wanted to start the business. And on a personal note, you wanted to watch what you eat. You want to get healthier. That's your accountability partner. You want to make sure that that person is someone you trust, someone you know is with no judgment, but they're going to hold your feet to the fire. And that's the person who says, you said this is what you wanted. I'm here to support what you want and also to hold your feet to the fire. The next seat is your shoulder. The shoulder is your person that's there to help you when you fall. Sometimes your accountability partner might be a little bit rough around the edges, but your shoulder is the person that's going to say, okay, sometimes we fall, but now we have to get up. They're the person that's going to listen to you fuss, complain, do whatever it is to get you back into your right headspace and say, let's do this. Now, I do want to caution you on the shoulder, because having a shoulder to lean on is great. You have to make sure it's not a crutch. You have to make sure that that person is going to lift you up as much as they're consoling you and helping you get through a hard time in your life. The last two seats on the board, most people think about. The first being the mentor, the second being the sponsor. The mentor is a person who is going to advise you, they're going to coach you, they're going to make suggestions to you about what it is, the direction you need to go, what you need to do, what classes to take, what associations to join, what boards to sit on. That's your mentor. Your mentor is going to talk to you about your goals and say, this is my advice on getting to those goals. The sponsor is like a mentor on steroids, right? So your sponsor is your person that's going to talk about you when you are not in the room. So I want to read this to you. A sponsor is someone who will use his or her internal political and social capital to help you move your career forward. Whereas a mentor is going to talk to you about what your goals are. A sponsor is going to help you move forward in achieving those goals by going into the room before you and advocating for you. The second sheet of the document that was sent to you is a comparison of mentors versus sponsors. And when you take a look, even at the first line item, the language is having a mentee for mentors and having a protege for a sponsor. A protege is someone that you can mold and groom to help you be the best you can be. That's what you want. You want someone who is vested in your growth and your career as a leader. Sponsors drive your vision. They help you look at what the pitfalls are going to be or your blind spots are, and help you move yourself forward. Sponsors give proteges access, whereas mentors just advise you. So having both is critically important, but having a sponsor is a person who is going to bring you into the room, bring your name, your experience, your integrity into the room even before you get there. And that's the difference between a mentor and a sponsor. And sponsors are always mentors, but mentors are not always sponsors. And understanding the difference is really, really what's critical. So when you take a look and you fill in your seats, you want to make sure that you look at the people and you decide for yourself, who is this person? Who is this person on your board? Who is this person and why are they there? So I'm going to stop for a second before I answer some of the questions and ask you, can you immediately put people into any of these seats around your board and why? So who would like to, let's just talk about some of these seats and why you would choose a person to be in this seat.
I was just thinking, Carla, about the word sponsor. Would you I guess agree that a sponsor is somebody who looks to create opportunity for you as well?
A sponsor, yes, would be someone that creates opportunity for you. It's also someone who says to you, go after this opportunity. So in some instances, yes, they're going to open the door for opportunity, but there's also a push towards an opportunity that you may not be aware of. Absolutely. So Nancy, since you're starting here,
sure.
Talk to me about do you have these seats filled? I'm sure you already have a board of advisors, if you will, because you're a leader in your field. So talk to us about how you have used a group of people like this to help you get to where you are.
So I think that the first thing that comes to mind is the word connector, and there's from my perspective, no better connector that I know of than my colleague Barbara Best. You can be walking down the street of New York City, which has happened, and to a meeting, 10 years ago, and Barbara's hugging somebody on the street on 3rd Avenue. Somebody she used to work with at Merrill Lynch, and had was in her professional ecosystem, and having been born and raised in Chicago, she knows everybody, but not just Chicago. It can be anywhere. And I think the thing about having a connector is that a connector, from my perspective, is someone who can connect you with others. And if they can't, they will find someone who will connect you with others.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so I think a lot about that. And that's what, this is all about, being able to connect one another and create those, those relationships, whether it's, for personal or professional, but that's how I think of one of my resources.
Excellent, excellent. So Seema says in the chat, I have some open seats. So Seema, what open seats do you have?
Good morning, and it's Sima, like
Oh, Sima, I'm so sorry.
Not at all. I've spent quite a few years repeating it. Good morning, ladies, and thank you, Carla. Yeah, I've been giving this thought over the years, and the timing is perfect for me to be refocusing on this. So thank you for the topic. I have a sponsor open, and I have accountability partner open. And currently the person in my mentor box is somebody I have paid for some business coaching. And he's willing to take me under wing and teach me. He's a low fee, but because of how much knowledge he has in our collective space, I'm a professional speaker, corporate trainer. He offers, private coaching. So it's not really a true mentor, but he is a go-to when I need to know how to get something done. But yeah, sponsor, I think of sponsors as champions who see you in a higher place and sort of help compel you forward. And the accountability partner, I just had our first session with a brand new mastermind, and I'm hoping that's something that fills, as we hold each other accountable, that team of people, it's just 4 of us, will serve in that capacity. But it's really given me cause to pause here.
Excellent. So a couple things, and I do see some other questions, but a few things I want to help you with identifying a mentor versus a sponsor. So in a corporate setting, you can have formal mentor programs, and mentors can be assigned to employees based on certain criteria. Sponsors are not assigned. Sponsors are organically grown relationships. And it's because people in leadership have seen you do your job. They know that you are on point, and they see something in you that maybe other folks have not seen but need to see. So
yeah, just as a point of clarification, I'm not corporate, I'm on my own, so the dynamics are a bit different.
So I'm on my own, and I have great sponsors. And sponsors for me, and for you or anyone else who is an entrepreneur, is someone who still goes into the room and says, have you thought about this speaker in your case? She would be great for this. Have you thought about this organization? Their company is in this space and they do this work. So while it might not have a leadership role within a specific organization, it does have a leadership role within your space.
Sure. I like it.
You must, so there are some optional boxes on your seat that could serve as a coach. You could definitely have a coach. There are also areas where you can think about sponsors. If you look at the boxes below, these 3 areas down here, that center box says, what other types of people do you need on your personal board of directors? So those may be folks who are, so if you're considering moving to a different company or switching industries, it would behoove you to have a person, an advisor, who can help you, either someone at that organization, someone in the new industry that you're looking to move into, to help you navigate those areas. So those are spaces that are left for you to think about what my goals are and who do I need to help me fulfill those goals. And you also note that on the bottom of the page is a date. I recommend reviewing your board every 6 to 12 months. In a typical year, which 2020 is not, I would really recommend 9 to 12 months. But now in this time where things are so volatile, I would really look at it between a 6 to 9 month period to make sure you are able to, you're having the right people help you achieve your goal. So let's see. So we have some questions in here, and then I can go through some of the questions.
So Carla, if I can just jump in here, a couple people have asked about having the same person in two roles.
Yes.
What's your thoughts there? How effective is that?
You can, as long as you understand that what they're bringing to the table in each role. So having a connector, you can also have a connector who is an accountability partner. This person knows lots of people. They're able to pick up the phone or hug people in the middle of Fifth Avenue, but they're also the person that says to you, you said you wanted this. I'm here to help you and hold you accountable so that you can move yourself forward. Mm-hmm. So it is possible to have the same person in two roles. And it's also possible to have family members, as long as your family members can be objective in how they're helping you achieve your goals. And objectivity is the key. Friendships can come from board relationships, but not all friends are good people to sit on your board. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about when you were talking about the role of a shoulder, that one of the things that I thought about was that person also cannot be an enabler.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. No coddlers. No
It's
coddlers allowed.
a no pity party type
That's
of
right.
thing.
That's right. So I tell you, I've done this session with a number of people, a number of groups, and I also have my own personal board that I work with and people where I sit on their board. And I'm a great shoulder because I'm a 24-hour shoulder. And that means you have 24 hours to cry, weep, snot, do whatever it is you're going to do. And now you got to get back to it. So I'm a 24-hour shoulder. And all of my folks that I mentor and work with, they all know that. So if you come to me, I'm going to allow you to, to vent, but you only have 24 hours and then you got to get back on the stick. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's critically important.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit, Carla, about the ask? Once you identify all these people, how do you ask them? How do you get them to invest in you?
So I think it depends on the position, that the seat that you're looking to fill. If it's a connector, it's pretty easy and you can have more than one person in a seat. So you can have multiple connectors. And I think someone mentioned here that they have a lot of connectors. The key is, depending on the role, will determine the difficulty with which to get someone in that seat. Connectors are easy. Dreamers are kind of easy. The hardest are the mentors and sponsors. So build a relationship with the person first. Invite them to coffee. Ask them their thoughts on whatever the goals are that you're trying to achieve. Ask them how they did it in their career. Mm-hmm. So it is an organically grown relationship with some effort and cultivating, right? So it's like you put a seed in the ground, but you don't leave it there. You have to water it. So let's go for coffee. Let's go out. Hey, how about this event that's coming up? I'd love for you to attend with me. It's a two-way street. Sponsors, on the other hand, are more organically grown than a mentor relationship. This person needs to see you in action, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working within the organization. They need to see you, and you need to get yourself in the room with that person who is sponsor material. And also, I encourage you to listen. Who is a sponsor? Listen to how they talk about their teammates or their subordinates. Listen to the support that they are giving those who work for them. Listen to the people who work for them. And what are they saying about that person? That's how you can identify and then make sure you're in the room when that person is in the room. You want to make sure. And that's how, and then you're just having conversation. You know, it's kind of like you don't say, it's any kind of relationship. You can't go in and force it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You have to you have to massage it to make sure that you're bringing as much value to the relationship as you want for them to bring to you. It's definitely a two-way street.
I wonder, it's Chris, I wonder, what's your experience and thoughts around asking for somebody to be a sponsor? I think you can ask somebody to be a mentor and that person can grow into a sponsor, but it seems a little inappropriate, or do you know what I mean? Like, yes. To ask for sponsorship. I mean, you can request, hey, can you, I know you've mentioned working with blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to form strategic partnerships. They could be a good partner. Would you be willing to introduce me or whatever? I mean, I think we can do those kinds of things, but what are your thoughts about that, asking for sponsorship?
So I agree with you, Chris, that asking for sponsorship is very different from asking a person to mentor you. And that's, where I really focus on the organic nature of the relationship. Make yourself available to the person and put yourself in the same room as the person. You can say, I will tell you, I have a woman who has been a sponsor of mine for probably about 10 or 12 years. And it's so subtle that, it just grew. I've known her. She started as a client. We've ended up as great friends. She's well respected in the community. And we're not any way aligned in the careers that she's retired from and that I'm currently in. But she knows a lot of people. And what she's done is she has just said, this is who you need to meet. And what I've done is now I'm comfortable enough to say, hi, this is what I'm looking for. Who should I meet? So that has grown organically. But now I'm in a place where I could pick up the phone and call and say, you know what? This is my thought. Tell me what you think and who should I reach out to? So while you're not asking the person to be a sponsor, you're putting yourself in a position for them to say, this is who I would like you to meet. And then you can absolutely say to that person, who do you think I should meet to reach this particular goal? And as that person continues, if they're going to give you the information, then that sponsor relationship is now beginning to grow.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I have some questions in the chat, and we have questions that were submitted. And it's 9:37. I'd like to respect your time. So we have a lot of folks that are heavy on the Dreamers, Connectors, and sponsors. Can some fit into those interchangeably? Absolutely. Light on the accountability. So accountability is really important, especially if you are an entrepreneur. Because when we sit at this level, without having someone hold us accountable, it can be very easy to sort of slide off track. If we have someone that holds us accountable, whether it's a mastermind group, whether it's a CEO tribe or something like that, we have to have people there to hold us accountable as entrepreneurs. So I would encourage you to make sure you have people that are willing to hold yourself accountable. What I also suggest is that you create accountability partnerships. And you become the accountability partner for someone else and have them become yours. And that way it's a give and take. And you can meet regularly. You can set goals and meet regularly to make sure that people are on track, whether it's a phone call, meet, have coffee, have lunch, and talk about the goals that you set at the beginning. And now maybe 2 weeks or 30 days later, you're meeting with that person to go down your list to see. Some of it is absolutely black and white. This is what I want to do. These are the steps that I have to do, I have to take to get it done. And this is the date by which I'm going to do it. When you do that with an accountability partner, it just makes a world of difference with keeping you on track, especially as an entrepreneur.
And I think to your point there, Carla, I also think that what that does is it creates credibility for you.
Yes,
it creates credibility, so that individual is going to have more confidence in referring you and opening doors in, whatever it may be. So that mentor, that sponsor may morph into other roles perhaps, but that creates credibility. And
yes.
we are at 8:40, and just so you know, we, as Carla said, we want to be respectful of everybody's time. I have copy and pasted our chat. So some of the questions that we have not gotten through, I'll talk with Carla offline after this, and perhaps we can include them in the recap. But I'm really mindful of how you started this conversation today, Carla, that as professional women, we probably have all of these people, or most of them, already in our networks. But like anything, somebody had asked, does this really work? You are going to get out of your board of directors what you put into it. Like anything, you have to, curate it, you have to nurture it, you have to cultivate these relationships. And I always offer, I'm mentoring a young woman here in Florida, and I might have shared this with you at a previous virtual meetup, who is a flight test engineer at Lockheed Martin. She teaches Air Force pilots how to fly Black Hawk helicopters. No idea what she does. But, and I'm scared of what she does, but, she comes prepared to every single conversation. Mm-hmm. And so I just offer that, like anything throughout our careers, we'll get out of it what we put into it. So we'll try and get to some of the questions in the recap, and but really a great conversation today. Carla, thank you so much for help leading us today and understanding the importance and value of creating a personal board of directors. We hope all of you came away with some ideas to either create your board or to gain greater value from the allies that you already have in your corner. So Carla, just real quick, how do women learn more about your services?
So our website is instituteforpeople.com. You can visit our website there, or my email is actually on the bottom of the form that you have. And it's carla.harris@instituteforpeople.com. I would love to have some conversation and reach out. I'd love to work with your teams.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I know in the recap, you have generously offered at a reduced rate to host some virtual training for some of the women on various topics. So we'll be sure to include that information in the recap as well. And again, along with your contact information. So thank you so much, Carla, for your support of the Women's Forum today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. So Barbara and I are going to take a pause for a couple of weeks, and we're going to return on Wednesday, October 14th. So by then, if my math is correct, we will have just 20 days. We will be just 20 days away from the election. And we hope you will make our next program a priority. We'll be hosting an esteemed and diverse group of women leaders and addressing strides and strategies to make our voices count. They'll share their experiences and their perspectives as we talk about how we can own our voices and make them heard and matter so that we have greater impact on humanity at work, in our homes, in our local, and in our national communities. The invitations will be going out on September 30th, so please keep an eye out. And we encourage you to join us for this really important conversation. And of course, if you would like, share it with others. We can't afford not to participate in this conversation. So Thanks so much for all of you dialing in this morning and making yourselves a priority. We hope to see you again on October 14th. Take care.
Thank you.